What is good, Spuds? This is your main man, Jesse White here, and you are listening to another powerful episode of the Needless Potatoes podcast. How's everybody doing out there? How's your weekend going? Your Friday, your Saturday? You? All of it's doing good? Hey, great. Thanks for spending time with us today. We have some very special guests on today's episode. It's more of a Denton Super Show, if you will. We got Zach Fletcher, we got Randall Day, we got Nick Allen, and we got Jacob Moore. And we are talking suburban wildlife, we're talking monogamizers, shooting czars, we're talking Liberty Records, we're talking it all. And you get to listen, so thanks for stopping by. That's about it for us guys, so just sit back and listen to this episode and let us know what you think. If you like it, hit us with a comment. If you don't hit us with a comment. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, just be sure to share the podcast, give us a like, follow us on Facebook, like us on Instagram. I think I did that backwards, but whatever. You guys be good. We'll stay good. We'll see you next time and the time after that, everybody. Bye-bye.
Howdy, Spuds and Spuds alike. This is Jesse White here for another episode of the Needless Potatoes podcast. I am here joined by Liberty Records, Shooting Czars, and Zach, right?
Yeah. Suburban Wildlife. I'm Zach Fletcher.
Okay, well, there you go. So we'll start off right. I'll let you guys introduce yourself, and you can say what project you're involved with and one thing about yourself.
All right, my name is Randall. I play in Shooting Czars with Nick here.
Hey. Yeah, not Cub though. Just me.
I'm Zach Fletcher. I play with Suburban Wildlife. I do string things and I yell.
He also plays with Nick.
Yeah, I'm Nick, twice aforementioned. I'm playing drums in Suburban Wildlife and Shooting Stars.
I'm Cub. I play guitar in both Shooting Czars and Suburban Wildlife, and I am the founder of Liberty Records.
Fancy.
Well, all right.
To be clear, the only two people here who are not in a band together are Zach and I, but we do share a living space. So we are a band in a sense with rent.
Yeah.
Huh. So you're banded together for life. Well, not for life, but at least for a year or until you're
months.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. All right. So where to start? Let's start with Liberty Records. We'll start with you, Cub. How did Liberty Records come to be?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How did Liberty Records come to be? How did you start Liberty Records?
I mean, honestly, I just wanted to have more of a contribution in the DIY and the music scene, and I felt like getting into booking and promotion and distribution with my logistics background was the most helpful way that I could get involved. And I had the idea and I pitched it around for a little while, and then I got fired right before I moved out to DFW and just kind of decided, I was like, well, fuck it, this is going to be my main focus until, for now, and have anything else to work on. So
well, all right, very cool.
Fruition.
So did they know that when they fired you that you were gonna make a record label?
Absolutely not. They fired me because I was on a bender and stopped showing up to work.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll do it then. Well, joke's on them because they didn't make Liberty.
Oh man, he's starting nothing.
Well, all right. So I going from being a musician and playing shows to the booking and promotion and the distribution, does that give you a different insight into the kind of work backstage, the backstage work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it definitely changed my perspective on the kind of shows that I was willing to book for my bands, and the kind of things that I saw as lucrative, and the kind of things that I mean, I guess more than anything, it taught me the things to stay away from more than the things to look for. But you see enough exemplary cases to get a, I don't know, I think I'm straying away from the question, but
No, you're fine.
yeah, it definitely changed my perspective on the way that I operate as a band member.
The house was the venue.
It was the venue, yeah.
And the venue also was the recording studio, so it was like a trifecta. I remember the first time I went over to the first Liberty House, I was like, I bought weed here from before. I tried to trace back like 23andMe. I tried to trace that shit back. Like, did y'all know that I bought weed from? Because
Okay, so how we got in that house is
Yeah, that was Zach. Zach's the first Liberty boy.
So me and Cub and Nick, we all come from Amarillo.
Yeah. The perfect
Okay.
sequel.
It's there's really nothing to do but hang out with your friends and just kind of smoke pot and work your restaurant job, which is where we all met at a pizza place.
Slinging pies.
But I got kind of burnt out of the pizza spot, and I heard about a room for rent down in Denton for $250 a month, and I was like, sure. Yeah, so I showed up, and everybody else who lived there was in a frat at UNT.
Oh, yeah.
And
really,
yeah,
Yeah, bro.
blur it out, blur it out. No,
man.
but
I
yeah,
didn't fucking know that shit.
That was a frat house.
And then I moved down there to sleep on the couch while I was looking for a place to live in Dallas, where I was going to audio engineering school. And I was having shit luck finding a place, like kept getting beat down, couldn't find anything in my price range, and maybe 3 nights after I'd been there, somebody moved out overnight with no notice, and Zach and I think it was John were just like, well, there's an open room, do you want it? And I was just like, yeah, I don't have any other options. That's
kind of a
the best
recurring
course of
theme
action.
of the house is there's an open room, do you want it?
Right.
Completely changes the course of the way the whole house operates.
Yeah, we did that for what, 3 years?
It pretty much
Yeah.
happened for a while. There was like every 2 months it was somebody was in or out.
Right, just like vanishing. It's like, well, I guess we gotta fucking fill this spot with the next stranger who approaches us.
Sometimes I question whether some of the roommates really existed. Like, was Max real?
Dude, do you remember? Oh, I guess you didn't come with me for that, but like me and Zach, he was hesitant. We put out a Craigslist ad when we thought we were gonna lose the place. We didn't have enough roommates. We couldn't afford it. There was a bunch of shit going on, and me and Zach I put out a Craigslist ad. Zach was super hesitant. He's like, I don't want any Craigslist randos, and I was just like, well, we'll screen them. And so we probably went and like ate dinner, had a beer with like, I don't know, 7 or 8 different people.
I didn't know that shit either.
Yeah, and we ended up with
The
who,
Bachelor.
Max and Matt. Yeah.
Matt Max, man.
That's
That was a crazy time.
That dude was a trip, dude. He came here from France to do an internship at like Saffron, which is like the space place. He was like an aeronautics engineer or some shit. And he found our ad because it was the only one who said something about 420 friendly.
All he did, literally all he ever fucking did,
did.
smoke spliffs and play Rocket League for hours, and we could not get him to stop smoking tobacco in the fucking house.
I wonder what his perspective of America is just based on like him like
all-
moving in.
all
the
Americans-
We're just litmus test.
Oh,
Well,
man.
your screening process for getting people to your house is kind of like the screening process for getting a job at Hastings, because we would do group interviews.
Yeah.
That's a hometown store. They're
My
from
little-
Amarillo.
my little brother
one
dated a
where
dude
Boom
from that
Train Company
family.
is
Or
West
a girl.
Hastings.
Oops.
Dude, I'm friends with all of that family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I worked for one of those kids' dads who was like not directly in that family, but he used to be married to somebody in that family, and like throughout the course of a few years ended up being friends with everybody in the Marmaduke family
Yeah.
in our generation. And I still talk to most of them. I still
They
think
named
they're
after the
fucking
dog
awesome people.
Marmaduke.
Huh?
They named after the dog Marmaduke.
I don't think they were named after the dog. I think
Yo.
that was a family name.
Hastings should have been called Marmadukes. I'm putting that out there right now.
That would have been hard to trademark.
Well, the weird thing about those group interviews at Hastings is you would have to like it was really weird because it was like the dating game where you had to like tell something about yourself and why you would be good for this job. Like you're dating Hastings, but then you have all these other like muscular dudes and shit that are like competing against you and stuff. And like no no bullshit. This like I was in this interview and shit, and I was like, I don't know, 20, whatever, like I was just a kid. And this grown man is like he's sitting next to me and stuff, and I do my little spiel or whatever. And then he gets up and he's like, yeah. He's like, well, like as a combat instructor for the U.S. Army, and it's like that was his icebreaker. Like he was like, yeah, I can just kill people.
I'm ready
So
to take any of you on at any moment. Let's just get out of the way.
but none of us got the job, so
You
it was
can
super
take a life. You can organize the live music section.
weird. Yeah. So,
we
but
have some people at Hardback Cafe every now and again. It gets rowdy in there.
so who sold Randall the weed that he had to bring back?
That's still a mystery.
I think
John.
I mean, it's.
What did John look like? Sorry, John. I don't think you'll ever hear this.
He was
all
long hair.
Long hair, yeah.
That's like a football player Jesus looking type.
I know the one. You've met 100 of them.
Yeah.
Football Jesus.
Oh, him.
I remember when I was living there, when I first moved down there, all the rooms were full and I just didn't have anywhere to go. And I was like sleeping on a couch for like a month. And I remember like one of the last days he was there and he was just shirtless walking through the house, eating a whole can of boiled peanuts with his hands. And I was like, the last time I saw John.
Wow.
That
That's
roof though caved in twice.
That house was fucked. I'm convinced that house was straight up a front for an Asian money laundering front for like a litany of reasons. Because like
the offices where they were located were very sus.
Unmarked, second floor,
Basically-
only a receptionist.
Basically, the receptionist was working for 4 different companies, and she just like took in checks.
The people on the like lease agreement, the dude's name was Bill You. Like he bills you. They wouldn't take direct deposit or cash, had to be a money order, had to hand it to a secretary in an unmarked building with offices that were not full of people. Just the whole thing was weird. Like the ceiling caved in twice. We left because they tried to strong arm us into a new lease before they would fix the hole in the ceiling in the middle of winter.
Well, we had no running water either.
Yeah, no, it was
like
just
the hole in the
fucked.
ceiling I could live with, but like fix the piping because I need to take a shit.
I don't mind freezing to death. Hypothermia fine, let me shit.
We're gonna have to from the neighbor's hose spout.
The Liberty House has evolved over time, and now Jacob and Nick, you are both buying a house that I'm assuming is going to be the Liberty House, right?
Yeah, Liberty 3.
With 3 eyes.
Liberty
We're completing
I.
the trilogy because I'm not fucking moving again.
So what was that like? Trying to buy a house, the Liberty 3
It's
house.
a literal nightmare. Like,
Yeah.
I have never signed my name to something so many times in my life. By this point, like I said, we closed in what, 2 days?
Yeah.
I think I've signed my name well over 300 times.
We printed every document, dude, and that binder is like 3 inches thick.
It's
It's
a
by-
3-inch binder that is completely.
it's gross.
Whenever this episode finally airs, I mean, when we get to listen to it, think back from here to whenever that happens on. You'll be in the house by then, by the time this airs.
We should have the studio fully functioning. Bands, hit us up. We're here to record, mix, master, and produce your next record.
For probably cheaper than anybody, let us know.
Yeah,
We'll compare rates.
How do people get a hold of you for that?
You can message us on the Liberty Facebook page. You can contact either Nick or myself through any number of social media or telephone communications.
It'll be posted in the details of this podcast.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, probably your best bet would be to reach out to the Liberty Records Facebook page, and that's not Liberty with a T, but like LIBERDIY, which is kind of the ethos that we've made it a point to subscribe to.
Dog Inside You is what it stands for.
Okay. I'll decide to- Is that relations to dog blood? Is that like a trifecta?
It's do it yourself. I'm making fun of it.
By it, you mean the dog, Randall.
Randall's what we call a bully. He likes to pick on people.
He thinks it's funny to be mean.
You call him a bully, I call him a dingus, you say tomato, I say potato, whatever.
You're not.
Wait, is Randall really a bully though? That's what I want to know. I've been hanging out with him. He hasn't tried to bully me, but
No, he's just our granddad.
I know how to be mean to people and still have them as friends. I told him to shut up as a text earlier.
Every time I leave the house, he tells me, "Don't become an unsolved mystery."
Never go to a second location.
hey, that's important, man. That's like, I don't know. That's some.
But if I do, at least there's that, and he'd know that I'd be happy being on Netflix.
My dad did not give me tough love, so I am starting the cycle.
Wait, hold on, Zach. If you do get kidnapped and you become an unsolved mystery, who's going to play Randall in the reenactment?
Dibs.
I'm gonna come, but during the action sequences, it's gonna be Jason Statham, and it's gonna be real obvious that there's cuts.
Or Nick would be the stunt double, and the stunt double would be noticeably taller.
Like, goddamn, Randall grew 8 inches.
I think what we should do is we should all play Randall, but in different scenes. So there's just like 5 different named Randall.
We all know him in different capacities, so we can play Randall in the
Wait,
in
but
the
I'm not
spaces that we know him in. Not yet, motherfucker.
We're really gonna bring you the whole scope of Randall.
Yeah.
This started as a biopic about Zach missing.
Well, that was like when I went down to Denton to visit Alex. He was like driving me around with his buddy, and he was telling me about all the places where people got murdered. Like at Rubber Gloves, they found a dead body. Some mattress store, some dude died. Some like other place, some person died.
We got Murder Kroger. We got the shed behind Rubber Gloves Rehearsal Studios.
That was our last SARS show.
Yeah.
it was.
There you
Well,
go.
it
The
was
thing
last
about
time.
most
Oh, yeah, it
towns,
was a house
House show.
most
So,
towns
like,
have either a
10
murder
games.
Kroger or a rat Kroger. Ours is luckily the same Kroger.
Yeah. Is it Murder Kroger? Or, I guess it's Murder Rat Kroger because the rats aren't getting murdered.
Murder rat is like the most terrifying combination of words that I can think of.
Well, yeah, no, but so he was giving me the whole tour, and then he was like, "Yeah, it's a pretty cool place, but all the places I named, people died." So
That's a pretty good Alex impression, I can imagine.
thanks. I've been working on
Set
it.
up the cardboard Alex yet.
No, he's set up. He's in the music room. I didn't see him until the other
Bring
day.
him in here. It's blasphemous that he's not a part of this podcast.
Yeah, Alex, come in
Like,
here.
he's a part of the family.
The other day I was in the music room. I didn't look to see him. I started playing, and then I turned around, and suddenly Alex was there guiding me.
Life-size cardboard cutout of our friend
It's
Alex
bigger than
Gilman.
life. It is literally larger than life.
Actually, that's taller than his tiny little ass, isn't it?
Good to see you, buddy.
Wait,
Long time no
how
see.
did you get that cardboard cutout though?
Party City!
Oh, okay. How much was it?
$50. It was 90 for both. There's 2 of them.
Wait, so you got 2 cardboard cutouts of Alex?
Okay, so the story behind that is,
Everybody, calm down.
so it was a school
I like to make
it was a class I was taking during the spring, and it was called narrative illustration. And one of the projects I decided, since it's a self-guided course, is a music video for Monogamizer. So in the video, yeah, I know. So in the video, we were going to take the cardboard cutout and put him through all kinds of misadventures. But then COVID-19 hit.
Woo!
Nobody's done a goddamn thing for months.
Nothing.
So now we get to enjoy a cardboard cutout of Alex.
It's kind of nice having him around. I miss him.
Yeah, I'm just like I talked to him on my birthday, sent me a message, and that was pretty cool.
I feel like my things are much more safe with him looking after
I
me.
actually asked for this outfit. Like I
Oh, you made him put
this
on-
wasn't just what he was wearing. I curated like whenever I
That's so fun.
whenever I think of Alex, I always think of this this civilian of the world or a civilian. I can't read it. It's right. Citizen of the world. Yeah.
Civilian.
The word civilian of the world.
There's not a soldier.
And pants, and I told him to strike like a weird, obscure chord, like just as that's why.
Listeners, I really wish you could see this.
You can't.
We'll post it in the comments, or actually, I can do a screenshot, and it's just gonna be a cardboard cutout of Alex. So, wait. So hold on, real quick. Back up, Randall. You said that you could put him in different outfits, like.
I said different.
No, not the cardboard cutout. He could convince Alex to wear whatever because they're.
No. When I called him and asked him, he sent me pictures.
Anything else?
All right. When I called him,
I told him what to wear, and he sent me the pictures.
Yeah. No. I called him and said, "Hey, you're gonna be made a cardboard cutout, and this is what you should wear." And I told him all the details, and then he took the picture and sent it to me.
Oh, okay.
Interface with designing this thing is surprisingly sort of sophisticated.
Sort of sophisticated.
I would call it adequate.
Yeah.
I thought Party City came up with that outfit. I was going to be impressed.
Party City.
Party City. The my only Party City story is there's one in Norman. So Norman's about, I don't know, like an hour from here. But I was in Norman for whatever reason. You know, you're just casually in Norman sometimes. But look.
Where your party lives.
Yeah, that's right. Where the party lives. So I had to go there to like use the bathroom. And like on the door, this was pre-COVID-19, by the way, when you could do stuff. But on the door, in like very misspelled, shitty lettering, it said "need manager," but it was like Ned, N-E-D, and then manager was misspelled. And they clearly need a manager to proofread all this stuff.
That's pretty apparent that was an accurate statement.
These are falling apart. It's just Ned manager.
Ned manager, yeah. But transitioning here, a few of you guys are, well, actually three of you guys are in Shooting Czars.
Sorry,
what?
Three of us are in Shooting Czars?
Yes, three of you guys are in Shooting Czars. I know that we touched on it on the last podcast.
3 of us are in Suburban Wildlife.
That's also true.
I'm in every band.
So
okay.
Nice.
So let's start with Shooting Czars, and then we can transition to Suburban Wildlife. I know we touched on it briefly on the last podcast, but just to catch up new listeners, how was Shooting Czars formed?
Me and Randall kept making jokes about it on the line of the kitchen job we had at the time about making a band because our music tastes were so different.
We talked about
then, like one day it just kind of happened.
We kicked the idea around for like 6 months about being a band, and then Dave actually was like, "Let's just do it," and I'm the vocalist. And so on the first day of practice, this was all built around Dave being vocalist.
He's not and has never been in the band.
And he
That's
didn't
so
show
funny.
up. And so we still practice. And
Shout out Dave making
That's
this
so
whole thing
Dave.
happen. I didn't really think about it like that. That's so funny.
this was all for fucking Dave.
Dave, this whole one is for you, buddy.
Dude, Dave's the one who introduced the two of us. I remember Dave was the first friend I made, or well, not the first friend, but like the first friend outside of the people I lived with that I made when I moved to Denton. And he took me to.
He was our
a
kitchen
show.
manager.
Yeah, he was our kitchen manager at the time. He took me to a show in Dallas with Randall and Hugh, who will not be named because he's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
And we went and like drank some parking lot beers and saw this really disappointing show in this really disappointing bar. And then I was just like, man, I like
The
people.
Underpass.
Yeah.
That's what it was called.
Yeah, that place was disappointing. It was the sound system sucked. All of the bands who played there kind of sucked. The headlining
Steel
band,
Bearing Can was awesome.
the headlining band who was like Dave's old friends that he took us to see, like they got in a fight with their vocalist that night, and they played an instrumental set because their vocalist threw a diva tantrum and refused to play. And I was just like, wow, like I never ever want to be in a band like that. But that was the first time that I hung out with Randall outside of flipping pancakes. So like,
Remember
there's a little significance there.
at the club in the middle of the mosh pit, someone spilled some water, and so the club had to like mop it up, and so there's this, and the club had no idea what was booked. These people just had a bar and a stage, and hey, let's get into the music scene. And like, okay, so God-fearing fuck comes through. And I remember,
a great name for a band. I will give him that.
like he was mopping it up, and like there were people going through the mosh pit going, whoa, making very outrageous slipping in water, like more Kombat when slips and Sub-Zero's
Like a Mario Kart banana peel.
Yeah. And they were going to the mosh pit.
That's some new fucking hardcore dances right there. It's like mopping the floor, dude.
Mopping the floor.
I feel like that's gotta be similar to the lawnmower, like starting the mower.
Oh yeah, it's mopping the floor. Hell yeah.
I like any motion that you can just do forever.
Water.
The sprinkler kind of slaps
Yeah.
too, though.
Sprinkler. Is that hardcore dancing or is that just dancing?
I mean, they're both lame.
Folks, all dancing bad. Okay.
It's kind of lame.
Okay. So then that all,
Next question.
so then all that happens because of Dave. Dave doesn't join the band, but you guys still make the band, and you guys are working on, or you were working on some new recording, right?
I think for the most part, we are a few guitar layers and vocal tracks away from having that record ready to start mixing.
Call it like 2/3 done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
We're soon
making
to-
tracks.
We're soon to release a split with Escape from the Zoo.
That hasn't been announced yet, but okay, a little bit.
No, okay. Yeah.
Well,
You heard it first here, folks.
well, all right, very cool.
Do you
And
edit these episodes?
wait,
Going in raw.
take that out. You want to take that part out?
These episodes are like
no,
Monday
edit
Night
it out.
Raw.
It's fine. But if you haven't listened to Escape from the Zoo, they're fucking awesome. They're some great friends of ours. They make pretty neat music. This track is kind of unique because like I think that they were impressed by the quality of home studio that we had, and just like wrote and fucked around and spit out a track like just because they wanted to utilize it, which was kind of neat. And then so we got guitar, scratch guitar. We got the only drum track that we're using, and we got all the vocals at like 2 a.m. after a show one time, and then like had to wrangle in the rest of the band over the next almost a year to like get the rest of that track. Like it took forever because like none of those dudes are from here.
Yeah.
You know, like most of them live in Houston. There's a couple of them that are from Oregon or currently live in Oregon. Like it took us forever to finally get everybody in one space enough times to like finish that track.
Transcontinental, baby.
Yeah, no, it's kind of wild, really. But I don't know.
Shout out to Escape from the Zoo.
Dude, those guys fucking kick ass. The recent split they just did with Public Serpents on Tent City Records is fucking awesome. They do a Cake cover, so if you want a heavy ska punk version of Frank Sinatra by Cake, they are absolutely the way to go for that. And it's like
the only way, I'm fairly sure. But yeah, good job, guys.
Dude, it's awesome though. Like I was
Yeah,
so
it's cool.
surprised how fucking cool that came out. Like I was skeptical. Like when any punk band tries to cover
That's a
something
word
like
salad
that,
of the
like
song.
Our first set was a cover set of cover songs already. Like
coverception.
yeah.
Yeah.
Me first. in
Our
the
first
Gimme
start set was Me First in the Gimme Gimmes, and
For Halloween, no less, at a house party,
Gimmes.
which is honestly pretty sick.
it was fun.
Bro, there was probably 300 people in our house that night.
Yeah, people filmed like an indie movie without our knowledge. We actually, this dude almost got his ass kicked because he was like
so yeah,
fucking with people and didn't tell anybody that it was part of the movie they were making.
well, yeah. Apparently, the movie's called The Asshole, and like the whole point
It was
was
like you should
to
let
follow
people know.
this guy around while he tries to piss people off enough to kick his ass, and he got really fucking close.
Like we
I
took
had
him to
no
another
idea.
room and talked to him, and the cameramen were like, "Is he too much? We're sorry, dude. We're like tripping pretty hard right now."
It's like, goddamn, dude, if you're gonna like intentionally antagonize people and show up to house parties so far out of your head that you can't communicate, like maybe let somebody know so you don't get your shit rocked
For real, man. We had like
I had such a nice night that night.
we had a dude in a dinosaur costume dancing.
Me and Joe played
The
a
guy's name
cover
is
song.
Jose. I met him like a year ago.
No
like
way.
I finally put a face to that fucking dinosaur costume.
You met the dinosaur, dude, Jose. Shout out Jose in the big inflatable Tyrannosaurus Rex costume from the Halloween party that was just nuts.
Me and Joe played as Flight of the Conchords. It was nice. We had a swell time.
Everybody did just cover sets, which is
Yeah,
Always
what
good
was it? Randy and Elena did a cake cover set. Ironically,
speaking
since
of,
we were
yeah.
just talking about that, and it was Joe. Yeah, Joe and Zach, the OG members of Suburban Wildlife, did a
Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords cover set, which was fucking awesome.
Like perfect. Like
you guys
really just
fucking
spot
nailed
on.
that. Yeah, no, that was so entertaining.
No, whenever I get my wavy hair, I look real Jermaine-like. And
He does.
Joe's a real good Brit, so
Brit?
it works perfectly.
That was fun. I feel like, man, that was the only show we played with Zach as a frontman.
okay. See, there's another thing about Shooting Czars that like we could have had this album out forever ago if we could just keep a vocalist. We've had man.
Yeah, 3 now.
Some of these songs are like approaching 4 years old. Not a lot of them, but a couple of them. And we've had to like just change them so many times.
And it's got nothing to do with like musical quality of any of the people that we've had. It's just like
Sometimes it doesn't work out, different directions.
dedication
like,
levels.
Dude, tell the story of it's like every album we do has to have this trek. So like, what about the Wildlife record?
Oh, see,
Are
that's
y'all at
another
liberty
thing.
to tell that story?
I mean, I don't have to name names, but like, so making these albums has kind of been some work, man, and like.
Turns out Liberty Records
turns
is
out-
better than a handful of studios in Denton.
Well,
it just turns out that nobody's gonna care about something like you're gonna care about something.
Yeah.
So if you want somebody to put in the work, you're gonna have to do it yourself, and you know what? That's fine.
Because like we saved up some money. We wanted to do the Suburban Wildlife album right. We went to a studio. Friend of a member of the band ran it, so we were like, we're gonna need a good deal. He's gonna work with us, like like a friend, like gonna get in there, gonna give a shit. And like, I don't want to say that he didn't give a shit, but he
just had
definitely
a lot of things come up in his life that made it hard to like keep up the momentum from like what we had been doing.
There were some delays that were like not his fault for sure that I'm not upset about, but I feel like he kind of like, I think the album got misinterpreted in engineering, so to speak. Like, I don't think he thought that we sounded the way that we sounded, because after 3 days we got those mixes back and we were like, this doesn't sound like us. So I ended up getting everything that he did there at the actual studio, collected all the stems, and we finished the album in a bedroom in our house.
Yeah.
And like I mixed it
This is the
myself.
best record that's been made at Liberty too.
I had it engineered by mastered rather by Michael Briggs out at Civil Audio here in Denton. Who's
That guy's fucking awesome.
he's the man, and everybody around here knows it, so I don't really have to tell them. But like anybody listening out there, Civil Audio, great prices, great work. Love Michael Briggs.
Solid.
Yeah.
But,
Fuck yeah, Michael Briggs. I can't endorse him enough.
yeah, I mean he did the Monopolizer album with us. Just like local hero, low key.
Yeah.
But Suburban
Shout out
Wildlife-
to Michael Briggs then, huh?
yeah.
Absolutely.
No, like just
I've
a
never
really.
really worked with him.
You
I just,
should
like,
get
know how
him
much
on
good
your
he's done for
podcast.
everybody else. You should absolutely interview Michael Briggs.
Yeah.
We'll
Oh
have
man.
a million
Well,
stories.
9 Inch Nails 30 times.
Which that
very
alone,
cool.
interview a guy who's seen 9 Inch Nails 30 times. That's
Just
like
like-
an art.
We could fill out a whole article just talking shop about 9 Inch Nails. Like I have such a respect for him. I really know him. It's just like he said such sweet things about our album. It's like, oh my gosh,
Michael
I
Briggs,
got all ooh inside.
he had fresh pastries for us every morning we tracked the Monopolizer album. He made us fresh pour over coffee, like just nicest dude. Nobody's ever said a negative word about him as long as I've been here.
No, I've never heard a bad thing about that man, and I've never even worked with him. I just know so many people who have, and so many people have had such good experience. Like he just did the newest Noogie record, and they like had to pull it out of their ass and like get a fill-in drummer after Nick passed. Rest in peace to the only member of that band that I've ever liked.
Really, Nick was a cool guy, man.
He really was. He was. Sorry, I didn't mean to get heavy. That guy was awesome, but like Michael Briggs had the patience to put out that record without the only adult in that band.
None of our music is without
Struggle
its
and
weight
sacrifice.
in trial in just trying to get it out and quality.
No, dude, for real. Like Shooting Stars, we've been working on this record for what, 2.5, 3 years at this point.
Like the newest song is probably a year old.
Yeah, we've been trying to hammer this out forever, and we just can't get the lineup we want, or we can't get the bridge we wanted in this song or whatever. But like, it's frustrating as all hell. But I can also say that like, I feel confident that putting it off this long has meant that we are not going to put out a record that everyone in the band is not proud of. Like, I think that like when this finally comes out, like this is going to be like the peak of my songwriting and my performing career. Like, I think that this is one of the things that I'm going to be the proudest of all the things I've worked on as a musician.
And like, I think having workshopped it basically for this long, like the way I play all those drum parts has changed so dramatically.
Yeah.
But at this point, like I've got stuff in there that I think drummers are gonna listen to, and they're gonna be like, "Ooh, oh, he did what?" It's like just a little bit, and like we've been sitting on it for so long that we can like kind of get in there, find point, and work on some cool details, things like that. So like, it's frustrating to not put it out as fast as you want to, but I'm really not upset about like really getting into those songs, because like
digging it, we've changed a bunch, dude. Like that was what like
they're cooler now, man, for it for sure.
Trying to explain like when we were having such headaches with like minor changes with a few other band members, I was just like, look, man, like every time, like literally every song that I've recorded for this, like I have gone back and changed the guitar part or found something that I could do better or found a piece that fit. And so like I think this is a really important songwriting process for this.
It's meticulous, and we're going to be meticulous about it. So coming soon, a very meticulously composed album that we poured years of energy into. We hope that a lot of people like it, and we get super rich and famous, because that's what we're all about.
The money and the fame.
Dirty whore mouth.
So real quick, who's all in Monogamizer? As far as band wise,
we're all in the room. One for once too. It's Nick and myself and this cardboard cutout here.
As far as like
of Alex,
I guess we can just run the lineups down, since we're like there's like
most
of 3 bands in this room. So that's Monogamizer. Suburban Wildlife is me, Nick, that's Zach, and our buddy Joe, who's not present. And then
I'm the newest edition. I learned all the songs, and then COVID happened.
That's right. I forget, because we planned our album release show, and started learning the material, play second guitar live, work some cool shit out, and then blam, no more shows, period. It's done.
Yeah, we were supposed to play our album release show on the 18th of March, so, you know.
You remember when that happened.
We put the record out anyway. With no help from the fucking distro company. That was the first time I ever had to be dad with those guys, dude. Okay, so like we go to use this digital distro service. I'm not gonna name them because they don't deserve the publicity, really. But like, and they try to tell us that because the artist that we commissioned to do the album art posted it on his Instagram that it wasn't original art, and that we're like stealing art from this guy. And so like I'm frustrated, and I argue, and after a few weeks I was just like, okay, so how can we get this done? And like, okay, so you need written consent from the artist. And I'm just like, okay. So we get the written consent, and they're just like, oh, we're still not convinced, we're not gonna let you do this. And so like I pulled a Karen, which is way out of character for me. Like I called up there.
Shout out to stepmom Karen.
She's not a Karen at all. She's wrong.
No, my stepmom, her name is Karen, but she's not a Karen. She's just like the sweetest lady. But that's irrelevant to the story that I'm telling.
Karen
So like I call up there and I bitch all these people out, and like nobody's listening, and everybody's just like, oh well, technically we can't help you if it's posted, it's not original art, and this and that. And so finally I was just like, put me on the goddamn phone with one of your fucking managers. And like I get in there and I tell them, I'm just like, listen, we literally commissioned this artist to make this art for this record.
Shout out Josh Connolly, our
boy.
If
you look up on Instagram at OrcGore, he's amazing. Like everything he does is
really
super great.
Okay,
it's
but like,
gross and slimy and perfect. Just check him out.
But finally, like after I did that, it was radio silence for like a week and a half, and finally I get an email that's just like, we have re-reviewed your request and decided that your album artwork is appropriate and not copyrighted. And then
Thank you.
yeah, and I tried to email him back after that to just kind of be like, thank you for listening and working with me, and I got nothing. But I think basically I just screamed loud enough in the right people's ears that finally they were just like, oh, okay, maybe we're being too meticulous.
Hate to have to do that,
But that's true, dude, because like I said, I'm so far from the like, let me speak to your manager type that there is nobody that I would rather not be than somebody like that. But like when it comes to my fam, I wasn't even in the band at that point. Like that was long before that had even been discussed. But like when it comes to like the bands on my label and my family and the people I choose to surround myself with, like you're not gonna fucking pull that shit. Like I'll yell at your manager.
And it's like, if you
Well, all
guys
right.
are the person who created that shit, we can put him on the phone because
Yeah, no,
Like,
he sent us an
we-
email. He gave us written consent, and even then they were just like, "Oh, I don't know." And I was just like, "I don't know how many more proofs I could give you to be like, this art was created specifically for this record."
It's like they needed to see the picture of him drawing it, and then they needed to see him
for real.
handing it to us in person. Got to be able to prove it.
Well, and is that album on Spotify or anywhere?
But yeah, it's on Spotify and iTunes, like all the things. It's called Adjective Sports by Suburban Wildlife. Check it out.
Bump it, y'all. It's
All right.
pop.
So transitioning to Suburban Wildlife, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, continue. Sorry, I'm just rambling.
Oh, okay. So moving on to Suburban Wildlife, how was that formed? How did you guys?
So it basically, I've just always been kind of writing songs, and I was working in the dish pit with Joe Stack, and we were having so much fun just making Simpsons quotes about everything and singing dumb songs together and just getting real loud, and we're like, let's just play music together. And so we just started working out songs, and then we're like, well, we need somebody to help us get loud, so we knew Nick knows how to slap at some pads, so we had him come in on the thumps and bumps.
I think it's hilarious that like Nick is the token drummer for everybody because he's just like, don't get me wrong, super talented drummer, but he's not a drummer.
He's a
Like,
bassist.
I make jokes about that in Shooting Stars all the time. I'm like, does anybody else think it's funny that our drummer is the best guitarist in the band? Like,
I never think it's
I've been playing shit. Sorry, Randall. No, it's almost crazy. Like buying a drum kit is like buying a truck, and people start to ask you to help them move. Like the second you have that shit, people are like, I see you've got a drum kit. I've got a bunch of just shitty songs. How you feeling?
You trying to play a set Thursday?
It's like, okay, so we're coming here to rehearse, right? Which is like, honestly, that's halfway how I got involved in Shooting Czars in the first place, because like I bought a kit and just kind of fucked around for fun. I was like, we bought this shitty just piece of trash off Craigslist.
You still play pieces of that kid too.
I still have one of those toms. Yes, sir, I do. Had this funny ass rainbow, like it looked like birthday wrapping paper on that drum kit. It's hilarious.
well, not originally. It was when you stripped it down that it got
It worked
fucking
like
shiny.
it worked like a charmed floor tom.
Yeah, the single piece. But like, yeah, all that is to say, like, I was just messing around, and like, Denton is so full of musicians, and all my friends are musicians anyway. That's half why I came down here in the first place. But like, you buy a drum kit and you're the drummer. It was an accident.
The drummer's at home, you just start playing at home, and the drummer starts drumming, and then
It's like, if you buy it, they will come, man. Like, it's like one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made, because I'm a way better at everything else that I play. It's so fucking expensive. It's the most work to load in and out. You're sitting behind everybody at shows. Nobody gives it.
You get to sit.
Okay, and you know what? I'll accept that.
He gets
Props
to
to
sit, but he also has to play with his legs, dude.
no, fuck that. I really hate to say this, but everything Nick said was right. Rarely will you get me saying that.
Yeah, also, most of the time, like, fuck Nick and his petty problems, but like, in this situation,
Nick's completely
yeah,
right.
yeah, I'll give it to him.
Real will always recognize real.
And right now, real is real, man. Fuck a drum kit. Fuck loading a drum
Whatever,
kit.
dude, you like it.
Oh, that
I've
doesn't
seen
mean I won
you
this.
smile when you play the drums, you fucking lying son of a bitch.
Well, it's fun. Excuse me.
Okay.
The work? I don't know.
Honestly, dude, even as not a drummer, you're still a better drummer than a lot of the drummers that I know. So like, don't fucking let that go straight to your head. But like, have some minor props for a second.
All the drummers we personally know should take that very personally.
Yeah, you go.
Including Logan and Kyle Wood. You take that
God damn,
personal.
Randall is just out here starting beefs.
He's
dude.
a bully, bro. We told you before, man. Randall's a bully.
It worked for Nos and Jay-Z. It's gotta work for us.
Wait, so at what point, Randall, are you going to bully me? Because I've known you about a year or so.
It went from you just wanted to interview me to interview me and Cub to okay, Zach's gonna jump in on it, and then I missed a call from Nick.
I talked to Nick, that's my fault.
So I mean,
But honestly, you told me we were going to talk about Liberty, and I was just like, okay, so Nick is the only person who has been a part of Liberty Records since I decided to throw the shit show together. So like,
I'm like number 2 in this piece. Y'all
You're
like
AB number 2.
hey, that's an inside joke.
so yeah.
Like I said, like I felt like Nick might have some help.
I guess it was today, Jesse, because I knew you would say yes.
I didn't really have a choice. You were just like, well,
Or dude,
everyone's going to be on here.
It's pretty
Okay.
tough, I'll say that.
So I was just like, yeah, cool. I'm just always very excited when people want to do this. So it's always surprising.
Honestly, dude, I've been a part of a lot of different interviews and like random podcast shit, but like the first time that we did this with you and then including now is like the most entertaining and the most like comfortable I felt just like shooting the shit with somebody for a podcast. So like I definitely got to give you credit for like making an environment that just like makes it easy to talk about shit that maybe a couple people might want to listen to.
Yeah, making people more comfortable about talking to computers, which is something I've always been kind of afraid of.
Yeah,
No,
it's like
like
Comatron.
I've been interviewed in a lot of different mediums by a bunch of random people for a bunch of weird reasons, but like I can say with some confidence that like talking about shit with you on your podcast has been the most like comfortable I've felt just like shooting the shit with somebody.
Well, I appreciate that, Cub. That's very nice of you. I'm going to use that as a tagline: is talking about shit is comfortable with you. Like, well, all right. Actually,
Shit out of me, friend.
I have to give you props.
That's for people.
Well, I have to give you props there, Cub. You actually you gave me a Liberty Records patch that I still have on my vest.
Good. I just want you to know that that's one of 200 in existence ever.
Oh shit!
Edition.
Like,
well, all right.
I'll never make new ones, but like I think it was important when I made them. But like that piece that you own is one of 200 made ever.
Have y'all ever had anyone ask for your autograph?
Yes, and it's
kind of
so
weird.
I always laugh, dude.
Yeah.
No, dude.
Like instinctive, like I don't mean to like laugh at them like I think they're dumb, but like when somebody asks me for my autograph, I'm just like,
what the fuck are you doing? Like, how drunk are you, dude?
like, that's never gonna be worth anything. Like
no. I had this woman drag her husband away from me because he was pissed drunk at I think we were playing Andy's. And like we had just finished the set, and it was a good set, whatever. And he was standing beside me on the edge of the stage the whole time, and he was like, "Yeah," and like he pointed at me like, "Fuck yeah!" I was like, I could tell he was drunk, but he's having a good time, and like
This
I
is
love
ours.
fans.
No one ever has that much fun.
Right? I was like, one dude loves this, and I'm gonna continue to let him love this. Afterwards, he kept trying to hand me money. And like he was like, man, the way you're fucking swinging, you're so fast, man. Just fucking like, damn, dude. And like, nice is nice, but too much is too much. And luckily, his wife knew when too much was, and it was when he kept trying to hand me money, and I like wasn't gonna take it from him, because like, I don't know, the whole thing was weird. But like, he wanted me to sign the $20 bill for him. He was like, I'm not gonna ruin your money. My signature is worth less than that, I promise.
Like, this 20 is now worth 5.
Hi, dude. Sorry, bro. Like, hit you with that deflation, man. But yeah, No, like I don't really want attention for what I'm doing anyway. Like that's super not it for me. Like,
One thing I will say that has been nice is like, you know how like whenever you describe how you know people to people, it's nice whenever people say, "Oh, from that band," instead of, "Oh, he works at this job that he hates."
yeah, here's a fuck capitalism from the boys here at Liberty. Is like it feels good to be identified for the thing you want to do, not the thing you're forced to do. So yeah, I'm gonna see you on that point. Ugh.
Hell yeah.
That's just a nice
If I
thing.
have anything to say about that, it's fuck capitalism as loud as I can scream it.
Well, there you have it. Fuck capitalism, everybody.
Fuck it.
Fuck capitalism.
Get out of here. Fuck it.
Hey, Randall, cut it.
Me and
You
my
should.
friends have to starve to death, so like a handful of y'all can be comfortable, then like it is absolutely not worth it. And I'm not going to elaborate on that because I'll get salty real quick. But like,
Randall, you should cut a promo on capitalism.
I want to see the wrestling promo for capitalism.
Oh my god, dude!
Time.
WWE
Time.
capitalism versus communism.
Randall, can you be wearing a tie and have a calculator?
Yeah.
Yeah, Randall, do a math promo on capitalism.
Some real world algorithms to why you should fuck capitalism.
I want to see Karl Marx in the ring, man. This shit is going down.
Yeah, Randall hit capitalism with the reverse DDT.
I
Really fucked it
I
up.
feel like there are a bunch of communists I know that could probably still fuck up Donald Trump. Like even what let's say Chomsky in his late 80s.
Okay,
I think
Chomsky versus Trump fist fight. I got Chomsky all day.
He's 25 years his elder, and I still think that Chomsky would like put that
Bite his ear off.
tiny little shithead man in a coma or something. I don't know. Sorry, that's probably irrelevant, but I will say, yeah, on the record, I still think Noam Chomsky in his 80s could fuck up little man baby bunker bitch.
You gotta play golf.
I realized I just achieved that in his office. Actually,
No,
fuck you, Trump.
Clemson's dope.
Well, sorry about that. We got cut off, so I think it was we're back to recording now, but we probably skipped all of that Trump promo. That was thanks to my cat who
Don't like Trump or capitalism. I think I can sum up everything that was said in the last 3 minutes with that sentence.
This is not the far right. Yeah.
We're not even the far left, which I think is ironic. Like, I think we just regular have some basic human decency.
Just look out for your fellow man.
I'll
Just
say
like, hey, what if you
Yeah.
weren't shitty to people?
and a little slice of healthcare. Just a sliver.
well, there you have it. So, real quick before we wrap up here, so as far as monogamizer, we have Nick Allen, Randall Day, and Alexander Gillian. Is it Gillian? What was that?
I told you that already.
Randall is a bully, man. He'll take any
Well.
opportunity to just try to tell you the
Hey, you remember
truth.
how you were like, hey, when's Randall gonna bully
It's
me?
right now, dude.
It's a thing.
Oh yeah, I didn't
But
see it coming.
if you want to talk about it, we are always usually talking
We
about it. We
understand.
can invite you in the group chat.
We got a support group going.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Randall, anti-Randall podcast, and we're just gonna support each other.
That
But how
guy
much?
was mean, man. I tried to put him
Talk about
on,
all the
and all he
times I
did
was
was just.
dick.
Oh, God, I don't think anybody has that kind of time, Randall.
I got one podcast episode for how horrible it is to sleep next to you on tour, though, because this man fucking snores like industrial equipment.
I'm amazed that he took the door off the tent the last time that we did that.
Randall's the heel of Denton music.
I literally chose to sleep without a blanket or a tent on a hardwood patio rather than sleep next to Randall snoring.
Dude, it's not a joke, man. I wear earplugs when I play shows, but that doesn't mean shit when I'm sleeping in the same house as Randall Day.
I snore too, so I'm fine.
I mean, shit, I snore too, but I don't sound like I'm about to pull the goddamn door off the hinges, dude. Like, there's a difference between snoring and like.
My snoring never changed a person on the inside.
Yeah, my snoring never scarred a person. Like,
I'm different now, bro.
For the better, I hope.
So,
I know.
as far as shooting czars, who do we have in the band?
I'm Cub. We have old Nick Glip Glop Allen
Oh, yeah.
slapping skins and making unnecessary cymbal noises.
Also, all the extra guitars.
Listen, I wasn't finished. Nick, thank you.
Slapping people is not
We
an
have
instrument.
Randall Day being an absolute monster on the fucking bass, which like I'm very
I
appreciative
bully
of.
the bass too.
We have Kane Creasy who makes me look like a fucking slacker on guitar.
Newest edition, sickest edition.
Newest edition, yeah, I agree with Nick on that one. He's changed the game on A, how we write, B, the sprinkles on top that we add, and like C, he's a giant fucking sweetheart teddy bear, and there's nobody I'd rather be in a band with.
Very
Love
good
that
boy.
dude.
And then
Good skating.
to round that lineup out, we got
Fucking
Dalton.
Did you forget his last name?
No, I know his last
3,
name, but
2, 1.
Klingon!
no, I know his last name, but he doesn't want to post it or share it, and is weird about it. Like he had his middle name as his last name on Facebook, and now he's put Podunk as his last name on Facebook. So like,
Oh,
I'm not-
Dalton redacted.
yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna put him on blast. His name is Dalton. He does vocals.
Dude,
he's
Dalton Don
talented.
DeLuise.
His name is Dalton Podunk or whatever. I'm also in another band with him. I play washboard in his folk punk band. We're Punk Parliament. He's talented. He's, for the most part, a pretty fun vocalist to work with. Like,
For the most part.
nah, dude, the dude is down as fuck. Like, I got nothing but love for that
He's
guy.
a true sweetheart.
He's a good boy.
He is. He's one of the nicest fucking people I've ever met in my whole
He's
life.
the only bandmate besides Kane that I don't bully.
Well, there you go.
Dalton, like,
And then-
you'll have to fight me, Randall. I just want you to know that.
Challenge.
Well, all right. And then as far as the suburban, oh goddamn, I almost said suburban commando. That's not it.
It's a better band name, in my opinion. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
That's a Hulk Hogan
That's
movie.
really cool. That's so our next album is going to be called Suburban Commando. Expect to see that sometime soon. Wildlife. I'm Zach Fletcher on the strings and the screams, and we got Joe Stacks on some of the shreds and the sweet harmonies, and we got Nick Allen on the thumps and bumps, and we got Cubs on the
Trying to figure the fuck out of everything in 2 weeks.
Cubs on the additional shredded cheddars.
Well, hell yeah. All right, real quick
check us
before
out
we
on
leave.
iTunes. Check out our album Adjective Sports.
You guys are on iTunes, you're on Spotify, you're on YouTube. You guys are on every streaming service that people like to make their ears bleed to.
Does that include title? Do we know?
We might have to get in a title fight,
We'll
but
get
I got
back to
some
you.
hyper views, so let's get
I
at it.
love title fight.
So real quick, Suburban Wildlife has music on Spotify and streaming sites. So does Shooting Czars. Does
No, we're not on Shooting Stars and on the streaming sites. The only thing we've ever recorded, that was pre-Kane. It was with a band that we recently found out had some abusive members. Like we're kind of renouncing like our association with them. I also used to be in the other band that we did that split with. There's a lot of fine lines to walk there. Don't listen to that split. It's not good.
It's
The other
posted
band-
and it's public, but just don't do it.
okay.
No, I mean I'm serious though. Like the other band, like they're talented and sometimes they're cool dudes, but there's a member of that band who has been outed for being very abusive, and I really want very little association with them. Like I left the band because of that. I don't think that the songs that Czars recorded for that are an appropriate representation of where we are now or where we're headed. I can say with some confidence that when you hear the full length we put out later this year, you'll be pleasantly surprised in comparison.
Wow, this album didn't harass anybody. Sick.
Well, all right. And real quick before we leave, what's everybody's favorite Hulk Hogan movie?
Zach here. I'm gonna say Gremlins 2.
What was the one when he lived in that guy's garage? It was a commercial on the Ninja Turtles movies.
Suburban Commando.
Suburban Commando. That I think just in context, that's my go-to favorite.
Was he in Three Ninjas?
No, he was
He wasn't Three Ninjas.
What am I thinking of?
I love Three
You're thinking of
Ninjas.
Mr. Miyagi.
I always had to be
No.
Tum Tum whenever me and my brothers would
Hey,
play.
Jesse, what's that movie he was in with Zeus?
That was God damn it, No Holds Barred.
Oh,
No Holds Barred.
That was a
Yeah.
good one.
No holds
That's a close second.
Okay.
They actually, Zeus was a wrestling character. RoboCop was a wrestling character in WCW.
Yeah, he was.
You were willing to do it?
Yo, he was
No.
in Rocky 3.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
we're
Yeah,
not here to
Thunderlips.
we're here to wrap up
Yeah, fuck
our
Hulk Hogan.
wonderful friend Jesse's podcast.
Oh well, thank you so much.
That's where we can talk about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Robot Chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not
I'm
film,
on his
That's
IMDb
not
right
film.
now.
Film.
Well, hey, I appreciate all of you guys. I really do. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, man.
Hey, no problem. So once again, you guys, thanks for sitting down and talking with me. Kind of late notice. Be sure to check out Shooting Czars on social media. Check out Suburban Wildlife on the streaming sites and social media. Check out Monogamizer on streaming sites and social media. Does Podunk Parliament have anything online?
Oh
Yeah, no, they're the highest grossing artist on Liberty Records. So they got 2 full lengths and an EP.
He's rich and famous already.
He is neither rich nor famous, but he is dedicated, and the dude cranks out songs like
He's rich and famous to me.
He works very, very hard.
I've heard of him.
He is sweet and he is dedicated.
And rich
And I
and
think that
famous.
both of those adjectives are more
Sweet.
important than rich or famous.
Well, hell yeah. All right. Well, hey guys, thanks again. And you can follow this podcast on Instagram, Facebook, all the streaming sites, because you're listening to the streaming sites. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your Uncle Joe Jericho with the glass eye. Tell him that. But all right. Well, hey, thanks again, guys. And I'll let you guys go ahead and take us out. All right. There you go. See you later, everybody. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.